The Leafs have the second best points percentage in the Atlantic, the best goal differential in the conference. So why the great start? To speak to that, here's Frankie Corrado. Frankie, we know it's still super early, but who gets the most credit for the Leafs' quick start out of the gate?
For me, it's Anthony Stolarz, Gino. I guess if you're putting it between the goaltending or the defense or the coaching, the goaltending has the opportunity to have the most immediate impact as far as how the game can be won. Anthony Stolarz has gotten the net now 3 times. He's only let in 5 goals. He's played really good in a situation where I'm sure he was expecting his counterpart, Joseph Woll, to be available, and maybe they were splitting the net. But Stolarz has shown that if Joseph Woll is not going to be available, he can be counted on. He can be trusted. And I think if you're comparing it to the defensemen and the coaches specifically, I think Craig Berube, throughout training camp has probably instilled a certain mindset, and we've talked a lot about how things are going to look different with this team, but that's something that we're going to see the play out throughout the course of a season and into the playoffs. The goaltending had the chance to have the most immediate impact, and Anthony Stolarz has done that for the Maple Leafs.
All right, I'm a goalie hugger, so I appreciate where you started, but you mentioned the D, and we've been blasting the Leafs blue line for years now, but Brad Treliving brought in Chris Tanev and Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and they've both been awesome. Again, super early, but how would you grade the two of them so far?
Really good, Gino. It's hard to not give this an A. Chris Tanev has been as advertised. A good partner for Morgan Rielly. A lot of ease when he's on the ice, either with the puck or without the puck. He breaks the puck out clean. He's really good at defending against the other team's best players. Chris Tanev has been everything the Leafs could have hoped. Yes, it's early in the season. He will have to stay healthy, but he has looked good. Oliver Ekman-Larsson has exceeded expectations, and yes, it's early, but if this continues, he has the chance to play a much bigger role on Toronto than he did on Florida, and that's great news for the Maple Leafs because if they can get a little more out of him, running the first power play unit to some success like he did last night against the Los Angeles Kings, playing well at 5-on-5, there's a little more bite to his game than maybe people give him credit for. He has exceeded expectations, and if he can continue to do that, the Leafs are playing with found money because for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, they probably had envisioned how things were going to go for him. He is exceeding those visions right now, Gino.
All right, you talked about expectations. I want to ask you about the expectations. Forget the numbers. Put the numbers aside. Watching the Leafs play the way they are they playing as well as you thought they would play or better than you thought they would play at this point of the season?
I would say as well as I thought they would play. Even in net, if Woll was in net or Stolarz was in net, I was expecting them to get a good performance. I didn't think the play was going to tail off. Defensively, this is what you hoped for. This is what you bargained for, and now you've gotten it so far. And it's almost masked, some of the offensive shortcomings from some of the star players in the early goings of, the first couple games, let's call it. And now that's given Austin Matthews time to heat up and the power play has heated up. This is pretty much what we thought, or what I thought the Leafs were going to look like. And so far, they look like a team that can take another step. I know we always talk about the regular season in Toronto and how it doesn't mean anything. You still have to play the games. You still have to compete in a very competitive Atlantic division. And so far, Gino, it's going well for the Maple Leafs.
Let's bring some balance to this because the naysayers are going to say, yeah, nice start, but it's been a pretty easy sked so far. That is about to change. Next up, the Leafs get the Rangers and Lightning, the only two teams in the East with better points percentages than the Leafs.